Good morning, Westminster. My name is Boyd Taylor, and I'm here to talk about the Resident Association's new venture, the Westminster Writers Journal, and visit with one of the contributors. The Writers Journal is a platform for creative expression, whether poetry, nonfiction, memoirs, or fiction, by Westminster residents. And the inaugural edition should be available this week. The exact date depends on our friends at UPS, but notices will be posted. 33 Westminster residents have contributed to the inaugural edition, and my guest today is one of them, a poet, Moneta Prince. Hello, Moneta. How are you managing during these strange times?
I'm managing. It gets a little boring, but we get through it.
We're lucky to be here, I think. And I think we're lucky to have such great staff, such dedicated staff who seem to have such good spirits and keep us safe.
They've done a wonderful job. They really have.
Yeah. So tell me, what made you decide to move to Westminster?
Well, my husband had had quad bypass surgery, and we thought, well, it's kind of time. Our name had been on the list for years. We kept going up to the top and said, no, not now.
Yeah.
But after that, we decided. So we moved here 2013.
Yeah, that's quite a while. We moved in 2012, I think. So when the Windsor opened. So when did you begin writing poetry?
Really not until I got here. I sort of messed with it, but I never took it seriously. And when I got here, there was a poetry group.
Uh-huh.
And I thought, by gum, I'm going to do it. And so I've got, some of them are very good and some of them are absolutely horrible.
Well, that's the way writers feel about their work. What I've seen is very good. You grew up in Dallas and went to school at UT?
UT Austin, yeah.
Austin, yeah.
Yeah.
So how did you and your late husband, Jack, meet?
We met at church in Dallas, and he was the president of the college group, and I was a little freshman, and he was good looking.
So there was a mutual attraction there.
Yeah.
And what year did you marry?
56.
And then in 57, you went to Korea.
That's right.
Were you eager to make that change in your life?
Yeah, really. I wanted to go. We had decided that we wanted to serve the church. We were working in the church. And so we went to help a little, very, very tiny little college that had just begun. It was called Daejeon College. And in those days, Koreans didn't have much higher education because the Japanese had taken over everything. They had a few large schools in Seoul, but there was nothing else. So during the 56, 57, 58, up to 60, schools just popped up all over the country.
Mm. There was a great demand for it. They wanted education, but the Japanese hadn't permitted it, I guess.
Yeah.
Or had discouraged it anyway.
Right.
Korea was just really a Japanese colony, wasn't it?
Since 1910 to 1945. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And there's still remnants of that in the relationship between the countries, I gather.
Yeah.
So you were there for about 10 years?
We were there for 10 years, came home for 6, went back to Seoul for another 10. So
you saw it at 2 different times in the development of the country. How had it changed when you went back?
It had changed quite a bit, but there was still tremendous political unrest. And it still had some growth to do.
Yeah, yeah. And your children were both born there?
Yeah, we had one adopted daughter. who is Korean. Our first daughter was born there also, though.
And so you have real ties to the country. And in fact, you have a Korean name. It's
Myung Suk.
Do I
Myung
pronounce it right?
Suk.
Myung
Myung Suk.
Myung Suk. Is that
Yeah,
close? No. Myung Suk.
that's right.
All right. Well, you contributed 5 poems to the journal, and they're titled Remembrance of Korea 1957-67 and 1973-83. So they are in the nature of poems as memories or as a memoir.
That's true.
Yeah. So what are you going to read for us today?
Well, I thought I'd read Barley Tea, which there are a lot of people here who've been in university teaching. I thought maybe this would appeal to them. This was written about a time that was where the university was poor. It didn't. This is in Seoul. It was a larger than the one in Daejeon, but it was very lacking. And one thing it was lacking in was heat. And I had been assigned to a big classroom on the north side of the building, and I was cold as heck. I had a class there in phonology that I taught. Nearly froze to death.
Wow.
So shall I go ahead and read
Yes,
it now?
please read it for us.
Okay. It's called Barley Tea. Cold days in cold stone buildings in the Korean winter. Out of an icy classroom, I hurried to the pot-belly stove in the lounge with a gleaming gold pot on top, venting an aroma of roasted grain. The gathering of other professors, sometimes talkative, sometimes not, hold handleless cups of barley tea, steaming, almost burning the hands. I pour mine, find a seat, and I blow the warmth into my face. I'm enfolded in barley tea mist, like slipping into a soothing hot bath. The conversation might be interesting and engaging, or it might just form mystical background music for me to enjoy the warmth, comfort, belonging. Alas, that was over 30 years ago. Korea is now modern, sophisticated, no more pot-belly stoves, no more knots of professors drawn together to entertain with their stories, or gently blow into cups of barley tea.
No, that's wonderful. Thank you.
The business of the lounge, really, we did a lot of conversation and socialization there, and it was a lot of fun. And one of the greatest things that happened to me is we had a Korean English teacher who was there for, I think, only one semester. I don't even remember her name, but she was translating a new novel that had just come out, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Really?
And we worked on it together because there were some expressions, particularly slang and so forth, that she didn't understand. Her English was very good, and
Yeah.
she was a brilliant woman. So I helped translate, or help the translator through that. That was fun.
I'll bet it was. I'll bet it was. So they're probably still reading your translation over there.
Was not my translation. I just helped.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for sharing that with us today. And I'm glad that we got to visit. And I hope that we'll see more of your poetry in our fall edition.
Thank you.
So now I'm going to say goodbye to all of you watching out there. The Writer's Journal should now be available at the little store. There'll be notices posted watch for it and buy it. It's only $15, $17.50 if you need the large print version. So buy one, buy several. They're great gifts. You'll be glad you did. So this is Boyd Taylor saying thanks again to Moneta Prints for being here today, and thanks to all of you Westminster residents for tuning in. We'll see you soon. Stay safe.